Ms. Abaid, we'd like you to address what more can we do to improve the situation, particularly of vulnerable populations, with regard to maternal health, and what are the critical barriers preventing women seeking and getting access to reproductive services and care?
Thank you very much for this area, which is a very critical area for the work we do at UNFPA in cooperation with UNICEF and WHO and others. I believe that I have 3 points to make in this particular area. And the first one, I think the Secretary General this morning and Margaret Chan clearly indicated the crisis in maternal health that women are facing, especially the vulnerable women, the poor. And as we look at the financial crisis, their situation only becomes even more serious, lagging behind and falling more and more into poverty. My 3 points are the following. The first one is that the whole area of the well-being of women has to be elevated to be a political and financial priority. And I think it has been highlighted very seriously in the 2005 Millennium Development Summit, in which the heads of states and governments committed themselves to achieving universal access to reproductive health by 2015. And this has become a target under MDG 5. So there is a pronouncement at the global level of the highest political priority, but we need to work to make it at the country level as well. Margaret Chan has said a few days ago or a few weeks ago that one of the vulnerable groups as well are pregnant women to the epidemic, to the NYH1, and so, H1N1. So we need to link also this so we don't work in uncoordinated fashion, but vulnerability of pregnant women will also be impacted by the flu. The second point I'd like to make is that we all together need to focus on countries that have the highest rates of mortality, maternal mortality, and there are 60 countries that we are focusing on in order to be able to address them. I believe Her Excellency the Minister of Health of Botswana has focused on the vulnerable groups within these 60 countries. We need to look at the vulnerable groups. But what we lack right now, or what we need to upgrade, is to have data that is very robust, that really indicates where are the gaps, where are the issues that we need, where are the systems are failing, and to focus on monitoring and evaluating how we move together in that way. It is good news that more and more many of us in the UN system with the World Bank and outside are working together. We're also cooperating with civil society and the private sector, but much more needs to be done so that the resources that are available can also produce bigger results than we're doing it individually. Also, the third point is the focus on the continuum of healthcare. I think we forget that mothers don't just happen to die when they're delivering baby. All of a sudden, it's because the life cycle of women has been weak. So we have to look at young girls, adolescents, pregnancy, childbirth, and so on. And through that, look at nutrition, water and sanitation, education, etc. So we have to look at the life cycle of women throughout. Having the largest young generation in human history is a real challenge, because these young people are also, many of them are first-time young mothers. Many of the young people, when we say adolescents, people think of young people running around. Many of them are young married women. And therefore, these also we need to address them with the education they need and how to move forward. Within the interventions that we need, that we know, I'd like to focus just on one that is quite serious, which is the investment in family planning that has progressively come down. And yet we know it's the most cost-effective interventions, and it does relate to the quality of care at birth, and we will talk about that later. On the hindrance, there are social barriers, cultural barriers, girls marrying very young, not being educated, etc. But as we focus on identifying all the obstructions, the cultural and social obstructions to the promotion of women and women's health, we should also look at what are there in the society that promotes women's health and focus on the positive as well, so that we can energize communities and have them start doing the change that needs to be done. I'll stop here, Anne, and we can go later.